Lágrimas brotan de los ojos de Dios al suelo del jardín del cielo. Ya crecen las flores de luz en el nombre de nuestro Señor Jesús. November 16th of 1989, 8 precious children of God were visited by death at the government's hand, spilling blood where their humble feet had trod. Lágrimas brotan de los ojos de Dios al suelo del jardín del cielo. Ya crecen las flores de luz en el nombre de nuestro Señor Jesús. Blood flowed like fire into the rivers of the night, coursing through lands near and far, warming the passions of those who seek justice, shining with the radiance of a star. Lágrimas brotan de los ojos de Dios al suelo del jardín del cielo. Ya crecen las flores de luz en el nombre de nuestro Señor Jesús. In the heavens of our dreams, God shed a tear which blossomed like a flower in the sky. 7 teardrops more lit the velvet of the night, flowers in the fields where they lie. Lágrimas brotan de los ojos de Dios al suelo del jardín del cielo. Ya crecen las flores de luz en el nombre de nuestro Señor Jesús. Now let us call presente after each precious name. Presente. Celina. Presente. Elba Julia. Presente. Ignacio. Presente. Amando. Presente. Joaquín. Presente. Martín. Presente. Segundo. Presente. Juan Ramón. Presente. Lágrimas brotan de los ojos de Dios al suelo del jardín del cielo. Ya crecen las flores de luz en el nombre de nuestro Señor Jesús.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Lorenzo Cañizares. Lorenzo is a Cuban-born revolutionary activist who dedicated 40 years of his life to the labor movement. As a member, shop steward, and staff representative and organizer, he co-founded and co-directed the Cuban Americans for Bernie Sanders during the 2016 presidential election, was a labor community organizer for the Pennsylvania State Education Association, and is presently co-coordinator of the Labor Community Alliance of South Florida. Welcome, Lorenzo Cañizares. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. And it's kind of hard to follow that wonderful song that Daniel gave us. Let me tell you that I feel right at home here because even though my background has been labor, I started in the progressive movement through the Catholic left. So the ecumenical spirit and all this uplifting thinking that comes from being associated with organizations of this type were very much part of what made me do what I have done through my life. I am 73 years old now, and if I had to do my life all over again, I would do the same thing. So very few changes here and there. But I will do basically the same thing. In the question of Cuba, which I was asking, and before I continue, let me thank the organizers and especially Sylvia and Caroline for guiding me along in terms of what I needed to do in regards to this wonderful evening of exchange between very good people, and I hope I can contribute my piece in terms of the long-lasting effect of our work. Well, it looks like Joe Biden is going to be the next president. I say it looks because I'm not so sure yet, but it looks like he's going to be the next president, and I'm looking forward to that because basically Biden has already said that he will follow Barack Obama's policies toward Cuba. One of the things that wasn't mentioned in terms of my background is that I run several groups in Facebook of relating to Cuba. And one of them was almost 10,000 members. Most of them are from Cuba. And one of the things that I can tell you that with no qualms whatsoever is that Obama left a long-lasting impression in Cuba and a very positive impression in regards to the United States and among the Cuban people. And one of the things that I look forward to the Biden administration, and you will be surprised. Well, she is from my same union, the National Education Association, Jill Biden, who I'm going to be seeing tomorrow in a presentation of the union. Jill Biden went to Cuba, and if you have a chance, and I forgot that I didn't think of this before, I could have gotten the YouTube video of her trip to Cuba, and that is a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece in terms of what she says about Cuba. Couldn't be better. Couldn't have been a better video. So it's really. I strongly believe that with Joe and Kamala coming into as a new administration, that there will be a different tack towards Cuba. I don't know, and this is very important because sometimes, you know, it's like a medicine or a labor organizing campaign. You just cannot follow the road. You know, you don't know about road. I mean, you have to understand the feeling. You got to have the gut feeling of what needs to be done. And Obama had it, definitely. Obama had it. I don't know if Biden, and I believe Jill Biden has it, but I don't know if Joe has it and Kamala Harris has it. No, really, it's a very important consideration because nothing is ever given in a TV dinner. I mean, you know, you have to cook this deal, and in order to be able to cook it properly, you have to have the feeling for the ingredients that you need to put in there. And it's yet to see. And I tell you the truth, I'm a little concerned with Kamala Harris because I have seen during the debates, she gave me the impression quite a few times that she was into the regime change camp, and that was so prestigiously led by Hillary Clinton. And I am concerned that Kamala has a tendency to follow that line, and I don't know how compliant she wants to be with the Cuban Americans in Miami, who are a powerful force. Obviously, we saw that in the results of the election, and that she will. And the funny thing is that the Democrats here are basically not different with the Republicans in terms of the policies towards Cuba, Venezuela, Nicaragua. It's the same mentality, and so I don't know how strong she's gonna be, considering that she might be the next president of the United States in regards to that. The first 6 months of the Biden administration, I believe, will tell us a lot of where we are going. How quickly the things get done in regards to put back the policies that were set there by Obama, which is what basically the Cuban people would like to see. There is no doubt about it. When Obama changed the policies towards Cuba, and began to the tourism began to flourish in regards to travel to the island, the income of the Cuban people improved a lot, and the lifestyle of the Cuban people improved a lot. So there is that consideration that needs to take place. One of the main thing, looking forward to what the future will bring, is the end of the blockade. You call it embargo, we call it blockade. And it's not just terminology, it's a different aspect, because embargo, it means that only the United States has a role to play in the difficulties. But for example, if Japan wants to sell to Cuba, the United States intervenes and puts sanctions on the Japanese companies that want to sell to Cuba. The calculations by the UN of how much money Cuba has lost with this embargo or blockade is $130 billion. $130 billion. That might not sound that much to American people accustomed to trillions, but the reality is that for a country like Cuba of barely 12 million people, this amount of money is an incredible sum. Just consider what Cuba could have done with all that money, considering what Cuba has done already. Has probably one of the best healthcare systems in the world. As you probably know, it's been a major push to give the Cuban doctors and a medical team the Nobel Peace Prize because of the work in the Henry Reeve Brigade. Henry Reeve was an American that fought during the independence war against Spain, so the thing is that the factor of that reality is very much affecting the Cuban people. The $130 billion is an incredible amount of money. And in spite of that, Cuba healthcare is top of the line. And in spite of that, Cuba's education system is, according to the UN, we are the #1 country in Latin America in terms of education. And I will take to say that it's probably one of the top 5 in the world. I mean, everybody in Cuba knows how to read and write, and everybody in Cuba is able to carry a conversation, an intelligent conversation with other people in regards to which, you know, in many developed countries that you don't find. You don't find that. In terms of the embargo, it costs $650 million a year. It has cost $130 billion for all the 60 years. $650 million per year. So the reality is that the Cuban people have been extremely affected by this issue. One of the things that we need to, and I see that Sylvia put in the chat the question of the Latin SELAM, the Latin American School for Medicine in Cuba, which is free. I mean, and we have trained, many Americans have been trained in Cuba. And as a matter of fact, in the watching the program from Facebook Live was Medea Benjamin from Cold Pink. Medea and myself and a few other people are working towards doing some sort of award honoring the life of Jack Lieberman. Jack Lieberman, as you noticed at my introduction, was a co-coordinator of the Labor Community Alliance of South Florida. Jack Lieberman was the other co-coordinator. He passed away from COVID a few months ago. And so we are planning to do a memorial, and that memorial will involve SELAM, and will involve the Haitian and Cuban communities in South Florida. And especially will be in terms of sending Haitian American kids to SELAM to study, and you know the foundation will take care of all the expenses and all that. The main thing, and I'm sorry it took a long time in the first question. Another thing that is in terms of what the Cuban people are looking forward, is that the Cuban people want space to breathe. Let me see if I can translate that into proper English. A space to breathe. And what it means is that you have a highly educated population who is basically middle class in nature because of education, but doesn't have means to be able to have a middle class lifestyle. Follow me? I mean, is the concept that your education level doesn't correspond with what your income level is, and that's why you have so many people coming here looking forward to um, looking forward towards improving their lives, and you cannot criticize that because we only live once, and people want to be able to have better living conditions. So the question for many of us that are sympathetic to the Cuban system, government, and I will tell you, I already told you, I come from the Catholic left, and the Cuban system has mainly a lot of weaknesses here and there. But if you talk about Christianity, I mean, this is one of the most Christian nations in the world. I mean, they do every, and that's why I think the Pope, the Argentinian Pope especially, has such a fondness for Cuba, because he understands well what the Cuban people had to come through in order to be able to get to the point that they are in. And Cuba needs to be able to establish systems of being able to develop money, to develop capital. Sadly, Cuba is not in China, and the Chinese have been able to develop a juggernaut. Part of it because they are very far away from the United States, and they have been able to develop on its own. Cuba doesn't have that geographical opportunity. It's 90 miles away from the most powerful warmonger nation in the history of the world, and as we know, or should know, the United States have been trying since the Cuban Revolution to overthrow the Cuban government and go back to the kind of system that we have. One of the suggestions that I would like to pose, because this could be done through the United States, is the fact that Cuba needs a people's bank. Like the state of North Dakota has a people's bank. And the North Dakota, if you follow the trajectory of North Dakota, and then you guys are mainly in California, there is a woman in California, Ellen Brown, that is one of the foremost experts of the public bank in not only the United States, in the whole world. And one of the things of the People's Bank is that it has the ability to have provide the kind of help to be able to develop economically without taxing the Ramin Bank. They try to do that. Somehow something went wrong on the road to Damascus, but the reality is that we're talking about China. The biggest bank in the world today is the People's Bank of China, and so we are able to create that kind of environment. We should be able to help the Cuban people develop, and of course that will need the encouragement and support of the Cuban government. I do believe that Miguel Díaz-Canel, the new president, is a very intelligent, very bright young man. or young compared to me, and he understands what is needed to be able to develop. I believe in the whole discussion, because like everywhere else, you have people that believe one thing, believe another. I mean, like here we have the conservatives, and well, there is conservatives there expressing themselves in a different way, but some of their points need to be correctly understood, because again, one of the main problems that Cuba has had is that for 60 years, it has been a constant attempt to overthrow the Cuban government. And how can you be able to trust to do things that are out of the box in order to be able to get things done? So that is a very important consideration. I hope that with Biden, we will diminish that that concern much. And let me then conclude by talking about what I see, what the peace movement, the peace and justice movement can do in regards to the situation here with Cuba. And one of the things is to educate people. Is to create provide people in United States the ability to understand what Cuba is really is all about, and encourage people to go to Cuba. One of the best ways of being able to understand what the Cuban people are going through or are about is by going there. Let's have forums in regards to Cuba. Here for me in Miami, it's easy to say that because we have it all the time. I mean, we have forums and we have all these kind of things because we are in an extension of Cuba in many ways. So that is easy for me to say. I don't know about California, but I know that I see some people that are in the chat that are members of the Asuntos Cubanos and all some of the other groups that I am in Facebook. That can be developed. That can be brought together. And lastly, is the need of a nationwide friendship movement. There is many, no, not many, but several cities to city sister relations. Many years ago, I was involved in an organization called the U.S.-China People Friendship Association. And lo and behold, I do believe that that organization did tremendous help in order to be able to bring down the tension between China and the United States. And Cuba is much more sympathetic to the American people than China. And it would be very worthwhile to consider that type of organization. And coming from a religious perspective, it is much more encompassing because in reality, that is should be part of the essence of what the work in relations to a country like Cuba should be like. Cuba is not paradise, but the opposition of the United States have made it much more difficult for the Cuban people. I don't know if Cuba, if without an embargo or the blockade, what would have been of Cuba. If some call lack of freedom than some people say, and some of that is true. Some of that is true. There's no doubt about it. There is no. You could just. It's a difference. It's a difference to what we are accustomed to here in the United States. But I don't know if that could have been developed. Again, I repeat, Cuba is a middle-class society in terms of intellectual level, but Cuba is a very poor country, and a very poor country. Not, I wouldn't blame them for it. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about one of the things that I didn't mention and in the introduction was the fact that for many years I was in the board of directors of the Cuban American Committee for Democracy, which was an organization that is opposition to the Cuban government, but at the same time willing to sit down and talk as concern about the development of the Cuban of the nation. Thank you very much, and a pleasure. And thank you.